Today in the East Twan kitchen, I made a strawberry cake for one of my friends. Unfortunately, I was not able to cut into this pretty cake, but guess what? I made y'all a strawberry loaf cake. Same recipe, just in a different cake pan. You know I got y'all. This cake was decadent, moist, and delicious. It was so amazing. And I also made a strawberry filling to go inside of the cake. I'm going to walk y'all through the recipe, so let's go right into it. I'm Issa Torn. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, all of the ingredients and measurements will be in the description for you to follow. I'm starting the recipe off with 2 pounds of sliced frozen strawberries. I'm adding that to a skillet on medium-high heat. To the strawberries, I'm adding 1 cup of granulated white sugar, just like that. To break up some of that sweetness, I'm adding a squeeze of a lemon to break up all of the extra sweetness from the strawberries and the sugar. Now, it should start to boil and reduce just like that. You will need to skim some of the foam from the strawberries during the cooking process. But before we continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more recipes from East of Twan. Now, removing the foam ensures that we are reducing the strawberries. We want a nice, flavorful, sweet strawberry mixture. Now, with this mixture slash filling, my goal is to still see the strawberry slices just like that. Now, I remove the strawberries from the heat. I grab me a strainer along with an empty bowl. I'm going to drain the strawberries. Why? I do not want any excess liquid in my cake batter. I'm only going to put the regular wet ingredients, which I'll walk you through, but I don't want any excess water, liquid in the cake batter. I'm telling you folks, just follow me. So what I did, I just stirred the strawberry mixture, removed any excess water, just like that. Now, it's not necessarily water, is a nice strawberry liquid, but I'm gonna show y'all what we're gonna do with that strawberry liquid. Now, you see that filling? That's a nice filling right there. You see that? We're gonna add that to the cake once it's done. So set it aside. Remember, we don't waste anything, but just follow me. I got y'all. But remember, we don't want to add that to the cake batter. Now, folks, I added my filling back to a skillet because I got rid of all of the excess liquid. Now it's time to add some concentrated vanilla extract, and I'm going to stir and heat up the filling once more just to make sure I do not have any excess liquid in my filling. This should only take about 2 to 3 minutes. The initial cooking process is about 10 minutes, and this last step is about 2 to 3 minutes. I remove my filling from the skillet. Now, we need to make sure that this filling is cooled. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the filling out of the skillet, let it cool off while I prepare my other ingredients. It's that simple. Now, for this recipe, I'm using a strawberry box cake mix. However, I'm not following the instructions on the cake box. I'm going to make it my own. I'm going to walk you through it. Now, if you cannot find a cake mix that has pudding inside, grab you a box of Jello pudding or whatever brand you like to use and add it to your cake mixture, just like that, okay? Now, this is just in dry ingredients. Now, what you want to do is get that whisk and you want to stir and make sure you incorporate that instant Jello pudding inside of that cake batter, just like that, okay? And then we're going to work on our wet ingredients. Now, inside of my mixing bowl, I'm creating a crater right in the middle of my dry ingredients. Remember, that's the cake batter and the instant pudding. The cake box calls for 3 eggs. But remember, I told y'all we're not following the instructions from the box. I'm adding 4 eggs instead of 3. Instead of using water, I'm going to add milk in replacement of the water. So essentially, you are following the ingredients, but you are adjusting some of the ingredients to make it your own. I'm adding some strawberry extract just to kick it up another notch, just like that, and that's completely optional. To that, I'm going to add some melted butter. Now, I'm using salted butter instead of using the oil. Remember, we're not following the instructions on the box. Now, of course, we got to bring out our mixer so that way we can go ahead and mix all of the ingredients and combine everything nicely. And it should look just like that. Now, that's a beautiful cake mixture. Now, you don't want to overmix your cake batter. If you're using a handheld mixer, still grab a spatula. Make sure you just go around that mixing bowl and make sure you have everything well incorporated. You don't want no dry cake batter at the bottom of your bowl. Now folks, I didn't forget. Now as you can see, I have a frosted bowl because that was in the refrigerator cooling off. I'm adding my strawberry filling to that cake batter I told y'all. Now as you can see, what is no excess liquid. That's a concentrated mixture of the strawberries and other ingredients we're adding right to that cake batter. No extra liquid, folks. I can't stress that enough. Okay, now once you have everything incorporated, let's set that aside and get our cake pan together. Now you can grab whatever cake pan you want. Grab you some with a little design to it. Now this pan spray is not sponsored, but I will say it is amazing. It releases the cake perfectly. I just grabbed me a brush and I got my head in the way of the camera, so I need to move it out the way for y'all. But I wanted to make sure I got through all the crevices of that cake pan. We want a perfect release. Now we have our cake batter. Now I'm adding that to the cake pan and we're going to go ahead and bake. Now you will bake according to the box instructions. Of course, you don't want to bake a cake no more than like 350 degrees. You just want to make sure that you do not over bake the cake, and that way it comes out perfect. And also don't overfill the pan. I almost overfilled it. Now the cake would not be a cake without what? Good old icing. I'm using messy powdered sugar. If you use powdered sugar, you know that thing is messy. Now I'm adding powdered sugar to my mixing bowl. That's about 2 cups. For extra boost in flavor, I'm adding some strawberry extract along with some vanilla extract, and to combine all of that, I'm adding some milk. I'll have the ingredients and measurements in the description. As you can see, I freehand everything, but I do my best to try to give you all the instructions. I grabbed my hand mixer and I wanted to make sure I incorporate this nice. Now I will say this, if you add a lot of vanilla extract, the icing will not come out pure white, but guess what? I like a little color to my icing. Now this is a nice strawberry icing with vanilla extract and it came out beautifully. Now look at this. Perfect. You wanted to have a nice drizzle to it, but you also wanted to coat the back of a spoon just like that. Perfect. Now I stuck a toothpick inside of the cake. Some pieces of the cake came out on the toothpick, and that's what I want. I do not want to have a clean toothpick. That means the cake is overbaked. Now the cake should cool for 15 minutes. Get your wire rack. You want to flip this over exactly at 15 minutes. As you can see, I was about to burn my little fingers off, so I grabbed me some oven mitts. Now folks, be safe in the kitchen. Grab you some oven mitts. Now I'll flip the cake over. I'm going to tap the top of the cake pan, well, the bottom, whatever you want to call it, just to make sure everything is released. Now folks, let's see if this released. This is a heart-stopping moment here. Perfect. There we have it. Whoa, look at that. A perfect bundt cake. Now remember, this cake is for a friend of mine, so I had to make the loaf cake. Now I really like that cake pan, so this loaf cake, let's see if that releases. Perfect. See, I almost dropped the pan. Be careful in the kitchen, folks. That's the cake we're going to decorate and have for the channel, and then the bundt cake, unfortunately, is for my friend. We can't cut into it, so here we go. Now, while the cake is still hot, take that strawberry sauce. Remember, I told y'all, keep it. We're going to add it to the hot cake. This is exactly after 15 minutes. We took the cake pan off of the cake, and we're going to add the sauce right on top. This is going to saturate inside of the cake while it's hot. It's going to soak in and it's going to be amazing. Now look at that. It's soaking in perfectly. Now once the cake is completely cooled, you want to make sure it's completely cooled at this point. Grab your icing and just drizzle the icing all over the cake however you want. Design it however you want. There's no right or wrong way to add the icing to the cake. And remember, it's your cake, your recipe. I'm just only here to guide you. So let's go ahead and take this and move it aside. And this is how I decorated the cake for one of my friends, and it turned out pretty amazing. But let's get to the cake for this channel, because guess what? We're going to cut into this cake. I'm going to show y'all how everything turned out. Just like with the bundt cake, add the icing however you want. There's no right or wrong way. Add you some sliced strawberries on top to give it a nice little pop of color. Now that looks really good. Now garnish it with some more strawberries on the side, and folks, there we have it. We have our strawberry loaf cake. Now look at that. Woo. Now you know what time it is. It's time to cut this cake. It's just like after singing happy birthday, it's time to cut the cake. Now look at that. You see the strawberry pieces. It is decadent. It is moist. The cake is soft. This is what you want. This is a perfect semi-homemade cake. Guess what? And we made it our own. We add our own ingredients. We add the strawberry filling. This ain't no box cake. Now let's go ahead and give this a taste test. You can see the saturation of the strawberry filling, the sauce, everything was just so amazing. It was a perfect bite. Let me know in the comments if you make this recipe. I'm Issa. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys the next time.